Welcome to the Shark Scale. Today's movie is Ouija, whatever the hell it is, Shark. And, well, this movie came out in 2020. It's actually a 2020 release, but you wouldn't know that. I'd really rather not talk about it, but let's just get right into it.
With that Windows Movie Maker font.
Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to explain this one, but please bear with me. So the movie is about this woman who goes swimming in a lake, and while swimming, a Ouija board shows up and bumps her. She takes it along with her for some reason, and then goes off to a nice getaway vacation with her friends at some house. Here they're having a good time or whatever, and then they're just trying to have fun, I guess, and then they decide, let's play with the Ouija board. Well, it turns out they summon the spirit of a shark who decides that it's going to eat the human race, and it's up to our characters to defeat the shark. Where do I even begin for this story? Like, I don't even know. I really don't. The premise just sounds so stupid. The way the plot progresses is stupid. The characters are stupid. Everything is stupid. Like, this has the potential to be the absolute stupidest movie I have ever seen. I'm not even kidding. It is just phenomenally stupid on every level. The ending is hilarious also. I won't spoil it here, but I will say an orange important person makes an appearance. There is nothing not stupid about this plot and anything surrounding it. The characters have just awful personalities and are mostly drab. The plot is unable to go anywhere meaningful and is just a drag for the most part. The pacing is slow. There is too much exposition, but none of it is meaningful. The characters are still underdeveloped and honestly just as boring as dirt. You want them to die because of how annoying they are. They all suck. There's nothing good here. Nothing even close to good. Nothing even close to mediocre. It's garbage. My mental capacity is barely able to understand how a movie could be so stupid. It's the worst kind of low quality indie garbage for a movie, to the point where it's really almost unwatchable, and all the dialogue is almost insufferable. It's just an awful, overplayed concept already taken to the worst conceivable level. Like, I can't even try to be positive about anything in the movie. It's just the worst. It really is. Speaking of the worst, let's talk about the shark. The shark is easily one of the worst sharks I've ever seen in a movie. Not even close. There are so many things wrong with this shark that I can't even begin to describe it. So it's kind of white because it's a spirit, I guess, or something like that, but the effect is just bad. It looks like it was done 10 years ago in Sony Vegas. The shark itself looks pretty bad, as it tries to look a little different from a normal one, but just looks incredibly stupid, and the design is just very lackluster and uninspired. Then we get to how the shark animates, which is easily the worst part. It is just horrible. It is absolutely awful. It's very clearly a puppet, like on someone's hand, just being green screened in. It really doesn't get much worse than this. This was in Land Shark as well. They did the exact same thing, but that movie came out over a decade ago, and it wasn't even acceptable then. Just imagine a movie coming out in 2020 that does this. Yeah, it's unacceptable. There's no other word for it. It's just unacceptable, and it's just terrible. It's very clearly a puppet that's been, like, blown up on a green screen, and it's just been keyed in. And this is something like a high school student does when they're like making a video or something. I know, because my friends in high school would make videos and would green screen in a puppet, and it looked better than this. They didn't even bother to green screen it in that many times, so they just used the exact same animation, and it just shows up over and over. It looks like crap. It's just super rigid. It's incredibly stiff. It's as subtle as a plank of wood. It looks like crap. I hope you like seeing the scene where the shark is like coming towards the camera or something. They repeat this scene to a comical level. Like, it's like 5 times. And it's like the exact same scene. They just put it with a different background. It's easily one of the worst looking sharks in a shark movie ever. And the movie came out in 2020. Not in 2008, no. In the modern year. There's nothing even remotely close to good, mediocre, or even bad. It's just awful. And then the kills in the movie are a joke. They are just an absolute joke. There is almost no kills because the shark literally just goes towards the person and then they disappear. Like, they just straight up disappear. That's pretty much it. There's just really nothing here. They don't even attempt to do anything. It's just laughable how little they tried with this movie and make some of the other shark movies I've looked at look like Grapes of Wrath or something, or Inception, or The Godfather, or anything that's not half bad. There's just nothing even remotely close to half decent in the kills here. It's just not here. They're all equally abysmal, and that's all I can really say for it. When it comes to the shark screen time, it's really quite slow in terms of pacing as a whole. I'd say the first 25-30 minutes, the shark doesn't even show up once. The shark doesn't even show up to the last half of the movie, and it's like this movie isn't even as long as a normal shark movie. It's like an hour and 10 minutes. Like an hour 8 without the credits. So not only is it shorter than any other shark movie I've seen except Nazi Shark, but the shark isn't even in the whole thing. Instead, we get to watch these characters talk about nonsense that doesn't matter for 25, 30, 35 minutes, and then the shark actually shows up. And it is in most of the movie after it initially gets summoned, I will say. It does show up for pretty much the rest of the movie. But that is just poor pacing, I will say, as the beginning can just drag on way too long. It just doesn't show up once. But then it is in most of the movie after it initially shows up. So, I mean, there's that at least, right? But, in all honesty, I really don't want to see it. In fact, I don't want to see anything this movie has left. And so, I was glad that this movie is shorter than pretty much any other shark movie I've seen, because it's atrocious. And the last thing to mention about the movie that's atrocious is the acting, which I can't even describe properly. It's just almost unwatchable. It's that bad. I have not seen such poor acting in a shark movie in quite some time. Minus Shark Babes. I'm not going to count that one. It is truly atrocious. Like, I can't even think of any negative words left to describe the movie, let alone the acting. It's just bottom of the barrel, bottom of the toilet bowl, bottom of the earth. Not only is it just awful white people with no sense of diversity, but it just doesn't even come close to attempting anything. It's wooden, stilted, awkward, robotic, boring, generic, lame, uninspired, odd, confusing, systematically unintuitive. There is nothing even close to anything here that's like acting. Like someone staring at a wall. There's just nothing here. Me reading off my script for this video is more acting and better acting than anything this movie could even try to accomplish. It's really sad that even I could do better. In fact, even you, the viewer, could do better than this absolute train wreck. Nobody is able to convey anything. Everyone's annoying, and I'd rather just turn the movie off than waiting around to see these people die, because I couldn't care at all what happens to them, especially the dad in this movie, who is on like Neil Breen levels of acting here. That's a reference most people aren't going to get. It's just the worst. And the special effects, when he's like Doctor Strange or whatever, I don't even know what's going on here. I'm really getting sick of describing the acting now. It's clear you're not going to find anything worse in the modern market, and even in like the sharksploitation genre, that's worse than this. Like, you'd be pretty hard pressed, I'm not going to lie. Really, bottom of the barrel. And this is a genre with like Snow Shark in it. So with that in mind, I think we should go to the conclusion. It's very clear what this movie is. An absolute car crash, train wreck, 10-car pileup of anything. This movie is just insulting. It's insulting to white people. It's insulting to fish. In fact, you know what? It's insulting to humanity as a whole, because it assumes that all of humanity, or at least the people watching this movie, don't have intelligence. The pacing is terrible. The shark is terrible. The acting is atrocious. What even is left with the movie? I can tell you nothing. There's nothing left with the movie. Whether it's the issues I just previously mentioned, horrible music, tracks that make no sense, repeated same shots of the shark just being like a JPEG, and there's nothing even close to remotely passable on any day for any film, let alone in 2020. I honestly thought the days of just truly terrible shark movies were well past us. We're past 2013, we're past 2015, Jurassic Shark has come out, Shark Exorcist has come out. We're past those days, right? Where a truly terrible, atrocious piece of media that involves a shark can come out and still be sold commercially. No, we're clearly not, because of this movie. Just bottom of whatever there is to be the bottom of. Like, forget the bottom of the toilet. We're like down the drain, and we're just in the septic tank. We're just chilling down here. Like, I'm just tired of talking about the movie. I will say this, though. This is one of those movies that is so bad, I might feel embarrassed just watching it. And I'm not going to lie, I think my friends, they also did as well. But we did laugh a number of times. Now, I really want to give the movie a 0 out of 5 on the shark scale. Like, I really do. I don't think it deserves any better than that. And I really want to give it a 1 out of 5 on the shark scale as well. But mostly just because of how funny it was. Because it was so truly awful that it should get a 1 out of 5. But I just can't bring it to myself to give the movie a 1 out of 5 on the shark scale. So my final verdict is a 0 out of 5 on the shark scale. It is Shark Chum. It is one of those elusive movies to get a 0 out of 5. That's pretty hard to do on this channel. Like, I think maybe like 3 other movies have gotten that. That's pretty hard. But yeah, it's awful. So do yourself a favor, and after this video, just please disregard any thought about this movie. Now that the video has reached its conclusion, you can also hear my final thoughts about the final scene. So if you're interested in the final scene for whatever reason, you can leave the video now. Thanks for watching. To everyone else, the final scene is hilarious, where it turns out the shark was summoned by, I guess, like a Sith Lord, who then contacts his main man, Don Don. Yeah. Turns out our president of the United States was in charge of everything, and like they literally just put Cheeto dust on somebody to try to have it impersonate him. It's pretty funny, and I don't know, the scene alone made everyone in my group laugh, which is always good, and is one of the reasons I almost gave it a 1 out of 5. Like, that was really hard. I mean, maybe I can even go back and say it's a 1 out of 5. No, it gets a 0 out of 5. It's still awful, but the movie is hilarious. Okay, though, the video's over for real this time. Please go home. Please stay safe. Not from coronavirus, but this movie.